And we've got a few directors in the house. Yoshi Nishimura, who was the letter Z. Jason Eisner, who was Y for Young Buck. We've got Adam Wingard. Adam did Q for Quack. And Kare Andrews, who did V for Vegetus. And we're, oh, and once again, all the way from the UK, Mr. Lee Hardcastle, who did TIFF12. Should move along. So just very quickly, for those who don't know how this insane project was put together, I had a sort of sleep-deprived night with my kids, reading them, two young boys reading them ABC books, and in my perverted state of mind, I wanted to flip that idea on its head and do a sort of alphabet of death, as you do when you're looking after your young children. So, and the first person I go to when I have crazy ideas is Tim League in Austin, and I sort of pitched the concept, and he was right into it and said, yeah, we can approach all these directors that we've sort of formed relationships with through the festivals we've been involved with. And we brought a few on, and then we used those guys as leverage to convince other people that they should do it as well. So it kind of had a snowball effect, and it happened really quickly. And then the rest of the film took a very long time for various reasons, which we'll probably get into once we talk to all the directors about how their shorts went. So I'm going to hand it over and let everyone sort of maybe do a short piece on their short and how they came up with their concept. And maybe Tim, you can talk about how they got their words.
Yeah, well, we were struggling with the idea of how we were going to sign these letters because we knew, first of all, that there was going to be letters that were going to be left out, Q in particular, that Adam Wingard ended up with. So what we did is we asked the directors, give us your first, second, and third choice, and we had a very, very complicated algorithm. Actually, I think it was a pretty manual spreadsheet. And we tried to give everybody their first, second, or third choice. And then thank God, guys like Adam Wingard said, I don't care what letter you give me. And those are the guys that got X, Q, and C. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's how that happened. That's our scientific process for assigning the letters of ABCs of Death. But I'm going to pass it first over to Yoshi Nishimura and talk about the inspiration for his ending film, the film that caps the entire project.
Sorry,
I can't speak English.
日本で上映できない作品を作ろうと思いました。まずこの話を聞いて。
So my objective was to make a film that could not be shown in Japan.
でも作ってみたらアメリカでもあんまり良くないような感じがしました。
So he said, even I tried to make it that way, but even in America and Canada, or in Canada just so far it's been shown, he's not sure of the reaction, that maybe can't be shown here either. I'm not sure.
そんな感じです。
So that was my idea.
Specifically, I think you're not allowed to show the erect penis of the emperor. Is that?
天皇のタツを見せない。
日本では天皇陛下っていうのは一番上の人です。
So what the guy who stands up at the end, what he says, it's translated as my emperor, I forget what the subtitle says. He says Tenno Heika, which is how Japanese address the emperor of Japan.
なのでこういうふうになんかバカにしたことをやると日本では殺される可能性があります。
We really wanted to make fun of that kind of the emperor and someone calling himself that or something, or calling the emperor. And by making fun of it, the likelihood of being killed by someone in Japan is fairly high.
本当のことです。
It's for real. They're like the right-wing people or something. Yeah. Just by making fun of any aspect of the emperor, people will be really mad at you.
だから本当に多分これは日本で多分上映できないと思う。
Yeah, maybe it won't be able to be shown in its, at least in this version in Japan.
I guess when I first got involved to be a part of this project, I was a little nervous because I haven't really told many people about this. But when I was I failed grade primary because I didn't know my ABCs. You know the part where it's like L, M, N, O, P. I knew the song, and so I would mumble that part like L, M, N, O, P, and I just knew I knew it off by heart, but I didn't actually know my alphabet. So this was kind of my way of facing my fear and getting some sort of redemption. But Tim emailed me and asked me if I would be involved, and Tim's been a huge supporter of us over the years. So anything Tim wants me to do, I'm down to be a part of it. So anything.
Yeah, and for Q, it's exactly like Tim said. Like, for me, it was like we knew that the shorts were going to be based around the letters, and to me, it just seemed like it made sense to let the whatever letter we ended up with, like as a crapshoot, basically just kind of dictate where we went with it. And then of course we ended up with like the worst letter like possible, and so, but we weren't surprised, and so we kind of started sitting around, and I think our ideas kind of started off with like thinking, okay, there's like 25 other of these shorts all in the same subject. How do we do something that is not going to be done by somebody else? And it actually was similar, not quite as serious, but as in the movie, where we were like, maybe we should actually kill an animal, and then we started talking about that, and then we're like, wait a minute, it's like, that'd be awful and ridiculous, and we'd be like the worst people ever, and like, for one thing, like, we could just never even do it, and then we realized, like, if you were gonna do that, just how ridiculous that is, and we kind of tried to tie that into, like, whenever you're in the middle of like a production, especially for me and Simon, you're always filming crazy shit, like, like all kinds of like gore and nudity and stuff, and it's, from the outside perspective, it's ridiculous, but like when you're in the zone of that, it's like the most serious thing in the world, and we just wanted to kind of like show that like kind of side of us where, like where you just take yourself too seriously when you're in the moment, and just kind of like play off of that, basically.
And I did a V for vagitus, which is Old Latin for the cries of a newborn. I just had a young baby, and I was like, I wanted to decapitate my baby, like that's awesome. Like who else would let me have that baby? But if it's mine, totally. And then it was like, well then what happens? I need a robot, so it kind of like, yeah, exactly. And then it was like, and then they didn't really give us enough money to do what I wanted to do. So I was like, now what do I do? So I had to build a robot in my basement, and there's a lot of for free solutions in this. No one got paid. That's how it rolls. It's fun though. It's a lot of fun.
I did the letter T. The letter T was open for the 26th film, the 26th director of the competition, where people entered a short film of their word beginning with T, and I did toilet. I was really close to doing T's for toad, and it was going to be about a big toad in the woods, like picking off these hunters. But it was just it was just too simple, and because it was a competition, I just wanted to do something a bit more challenging. I wanted a word that be intriguing, so a word that you'd be like, okay, so what's he gonna do with this word? Like toilet, okay. And I think toilet's just a beautiful word. I just love the word toilet. And I don't know, a lot of things just fell into place. One of the biggest inspirations behind it was this little toy that I had as a kid. It was from like the real Ghostbusters, and it was a toilet that, like a transformer, it was a toilet, and then it turned into a monster. Okay, yeah.
All right, we're gonna. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions about toilets or any other aspects of the film for any of our directors?
Outraged comments?
What was with the woman with the giant penis sword?
Okay, the question was, what was with the woman with the giant penis retractable sword? I believe this question is for Yoshi Nishimura.
これはアメリカの象徴です。
象徴？
アメリカのシンボル。
That's a symbol for America.
Any other questions out there? Up in the back corner. Yeah, actually, we gave everybody else $100,000. We just gave Adam $5.
Do it!
Yeah, it's kind of funny. There's been a little bit of debate about that because we were keeping the amounts under wraps. But then, you know, it was such a lovely film. They delivered it and they worked really hard, but then they spoiled the budget. Yeah, but it's cool. Actually, we gave the directors the option to add as much money as they wanted to on top of that $5,000 of their own. But it was a very... I'm actually, now that that dollar figure is out there, it's absolutely unfathomable to me that some of the production values and some of the work that was done on the screen was able to be done for that amount of money. So hands off? Yeah, hands off and hats off. Two fine gentlemen for working within the confines of this strange structure. Any other questions? I can't see too well in the back, so if you have one, great. Otherwise,
Outraged comments?
well, I was pleasantly surprised that there were fewer walkouts than I expected. So thank you all very much for enduring the ABCs of Death or possibly enjoying it. So thanks everybody. Thanks to Tim for having us out.